This is the most random video I have filmed in such a long time. I've got no makeup on and I'm currently fake tanning. Is my nipple coming out? I'm literally in my pajamas still. I'm sitting here to talk about the Mafia, okay? Mafia romance. I'm in a Mafia mood and I picked up a new Mafia book this morning and I've spent the weekend like curating my Mafia TBR that I want to tackle and dive into. I'm just in the mood to read morally grey men who are willing to put a bullet in between somebody's eyes if they look at me wrong. You know what I mean? That's the mood I'm fucking in. So I'm here to embrace it. So I wanted to film like a little Mafia guide, I guess, for my YouTube channel. I've done tons of Mafia videos in the past, but I just kind of want to sit down and talk about my all-time favorites and the ones that I believe that you should start with if you've never read Mafia before. And then once I read some new Mafia, get some new recommendations under my belt, I will come to you with a new Mafia rec video. How does that sound? How does that sound? I think it sounds fabulous, really. I'm a mood reader, so like I'm not someone that can read Mafia all year round. I go in and out of moods where I can tolerate it and love it. And then other times I sit down and try and read Mafia and I can't get into it. I just have to be in the Mafia mood. You know exactly what I'm talking about if you read a lot of Mafia. I did a video like this early last year for Taboo and Forbidden Romance. I kind of just rounded up all my favorites that I had recommended on my channel and put them all in one video. And that video did really well, so I thought I'd do it for Mafia. If you're new to my channel, maybe you've read these, maybe you haven't. I know if you are not new, you've seen these books plenty of times. Also, before we get into the video, look what arrived. Boneyard Ties by Amo Jones. I'm so excited to read this. I actually got the arc before it even released. And I did start it and I was like, oh my god, this is giving Elite King Clubs vibe. Elite King Club vibes. But I'm having this weird thing with like reading on my Kindle and my phone at the moment. I'm having to read paperbacks, which means my reading is very slow because it's just easier to read at night on my phone in the dead of night with a baby sleeping next to me. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, look how stunning this is. This is the surfboard cover, not the model cover. I will link it down below because I found it so hard to find on Amazon Australia. Like I could not get that and it was someone else who sent me the link to get it. So I'll put it down below if you're looking for the surfboard cover and not the model cover. Anyway, this video was not fucking planned whatsoever. Like it's Sunday and my in-laws rang my partner and was like, we want to have the baby. Okay, take him. I was gonna get all my paperbacks down for this video, but to be real with you, I cannot be bothered dismantling my fucking shelf just for a video, but I do have the entire list of the books that I want to talk about in this video. T.L. Swan is an amazing author. She writes great books, mainly billionaire romances, but she has dabbled in the Mafia trope before. I enjoy her writing because it literally plays in your head like a movie. The Italian was one of the first Mafia books I ever read, and then last year she came out with Ferrera. The Italian is a book that I read back in 2020 when I first discovered the Mafia trope and I loved it. This was the gateway into Mafia for me and it was just amazing. If you haven't read these and you're into Mafia, please read them. They're really good. I love them. They are kind of connected. They're interconnected standalones, alright? The first book is about this girl who is Australian and she goes to Italy and ends up falling in love with this guy. They spend some time together while she's traveling around Europe and it's just like love at first sight. They have the best time together, blah, blah, blah. She ends up going back home and never speaking to him again. But then she gets a job in Italy years down the track and ends up finding out that he was the one that set up the job for her and he is now in the Mafia. Ferrera is about a couple that you meet in the Italian and this is taboo and this is forbidden, very much so, because these two people are related. But they didn't know that they were related when they got together and they fell in love. Trust me on Ferrera, bitch. Okay, trust me. I don't read a ton of taboo anymore, especially like incest, but this, read it, especially if you love the Italian. Cora Riley is the GOAT when it comes to the Mafia trope. I'm actually so excited for her new Mafia series. Let's talk about it, okay? After her last release in the Next Generation series, I was like, I'm done with these characters. Like, I love the Born in Blood. I love Kimura so much, but it's overdone at this point, and I feel like the next gen series is literally being written for her readers and not for herself. So when I saw that she was coming out with a new Irish mafia mob series, I almost wet my pants, because I've been wanting something different, like new characters, new stories from her for quite some time now, and I'm ready for it. Anyway, we've got interconnected standalones about different couples, dual point of views, every trope under the sun: arranged marriage, age gap, forbidden, bodyguard, all of that. If you haven't read Cora, what the fuck are you doing, honey? She is so good, and she's done something with these Mafia books that no other Mafia books have been able to do for me, and that is this feeling of family. Like, I know these characters, and every time I do a reread, I feel like I'm back home. The Born in Blood is where you start, and then you go to the Kimura Chronicles. The Kimura Chronicles is set in Las Vegas, and you meet these characters or hear about them briefly in the Born in Blood, and this is just as good as the Born in Blood, if not better. The Kimura Chronicles will be my favorite series, one of the top tier, until the day I die. And I've done so many rereads of this series, it's actually a joke at this point. Bitch, these books, oh. J.M. Darhauer is such an underrated Mafia author. I don't even believe that she writes anymore, which is such a pity, because her trilogy or duet, I have to look it up and see if it's a 3-book trilogy or if it's a duet. The Monster in His Eyes. I read this back in 2020, early on. This is so fucking good. Age gap, twists and turns, very much on the edge of your seat. There's a little bit of like suspense when it comes to this series, I feel, and you never know what's going to happen next. It's just amazing, and if you haven't read it and you love Mafia, go there. I know there's a couple of other books that she has, like Menace, that's a duet, and that was phenomenal, and I love it. I love her. I just can't believe she doesn't write anymore. Like, what the fuck is that? Top, top, top tier, and I don't see it. I don't see anyone else talking about her Mafia books, and I'm like, why? They are incredible, and they're the best. The Boston Underworld series by A. Zavarelli is another really good one. We're dealing with the Irish mob in this series, and it's set in Boston. There is also Russian characters, and very similar to like Cora Riley, where you get to know the family. The books are also not very large, so you can just eat them, man. Like, you can sit down, if you've got the time and don't have children, on a weekend with all these books and smash them out one after another, and they're amazing. Reaper is my favorite. Oh my god, Ronan, the male hero in this book, is delicious to die for. He's like a sociopath, and I'm here for it. Now I want to talk about the OG Mafia books that everyone has read or should have read, and the ones that are kind of most well known for the Mafia trope, if that makes sense. So Mafia and His Angel by Lila James. I believe that this was written on Wattpad years ago, and then it was published. Very dark. We're dealing with human trafficking, sexual assault, things like that. And then you also have Mafia and His Obsession, I believe, and that is dealing with a mute character. Phenomenal. That one's darker than Mafia and His Angel. Please read these if you haven't already. I'm sure you have if you're a Mafia queen. I don't really talk about Danielle Laurie anymore just because she's a little bit controversial. But I was on TikTok this morning and so many people are reading her books right now, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to talk about it. Just look into her before you purchase. That's all I'm saying. I already have read them, spoken about them on my channel before I knew about this. And honestly, one of her Mafia books is one of my favorites to this day. So do what you want with that, okay? Do what you want with that. Do with that what you will. I don't know what I'm saying. The Sweetest Oblivion, I DNF'd, I didn't like. The Madness Obsession, I loved, okay? I fucking loved. Especially the scene where he popped that guy in between his eyes for looking at the bitch wrong. Husband material, honestly. But The Darkest Temptation is my favorite. Okay, Ronan. Do you guys remember, like, we're taking it back. When I first read him, I made like 3 Mafia videos based on him. He's a Russian dude, absolute divine. Mila, the heroine in this book, is a fucking dick. She is so dumb. But Ronan, Jesus Christ, he did things to me. He shook the ground beneath my feet, if I do say so myself. Like, obsessed. So yes, I see this all the time. This is definitely an OG Mafia series that is super fucking popular still to this day, even though it came out years ago. So I thought I'd chuck it in the video, regardless of my personal opinion on Danielle Laurie. The Brutal Birthright series by Sophie Luck is a Book Talk favorite. I see it on Book Talk all the time, and I do love the series, especially Stolen Air. Okay, that is phenomenal. Loved that. Beauty and the Beast retelling. We've got a Polish mobster. I was in this book when I was reading it. But this series in general is amazing, and we've got every mob you can think of. I have found for myself though, some of her books are hits and misses. But that's like with every author that I love. Some books I fucking would take a bullet for, and then other books I'm like, okay, that's good, but wasn't my fave, and that's totally fine, right? And Sophie's one of those authors for me. A lot of her books do hit me, like, you know, home run bitch. But other books, not so much. But if you're interested in Mafia, as I've said about this whole video, if you're interested in Mafia in general, read them all. But Brutal Birthright is something that's super, like, kind of mainstream popular. You'll see it on Book Talk quite a lot. The Mafia Mistress, what's it called again? Mafia Mistress and Mafia Obsession by Mila Finelli. If you like age gaps that are ridiculously large, read this right now. I read this last year, early last year when I was pregnant, and I was transported into a new world, bitch. This gives off true Mafia glamour. Like, you're shopping in Milan. Red lingerie. Where's the bubbles? Give me the champagne. That's the vibes. Plus, really steamy, smutty sex that, like, gets you going. I don't know what that's like these days. The birth control on my arm has fully fucked me, man. Honestly, I'm getting it out next week. If you don't know, I've been going through it, right? I've been going through it, and like, I've gained all this weight, and my hormones are fucking all over the joint. Obviously, I'm still going through postpartum, but like, I got the implant on in my arm, and I haven't been on birth control since I was 18 years old. This is messing with me, and I can't wait to get it out and to see if that improves my life. Hopefully it does improve my life. Because if that doesn't improve my life, then we're in trouble, bitch. Anyway, yes, Mila Finelli, she does have a couple of other books. Mafia Target, that's the male one that just came out not long ago. And there's another one that I haven't read, which is on my TBR. So hopefully I like those two, and you'll see them in the next Mafia recommendation video. I can't wait to bring new books. If you have any suggestions on new Mafia romances, like, I mean, released in the past like 6 months, link them. Tell me about them. A couple of other Mafia books that are super popular that I haven't read yet. Dark Verse series by Runix. I've heard that this is one of the top tier best Mafia series ever written, but it's written in third fucking person. Runix, why? Why third person? Stop it. I could read Gothicana because it just suited the book. And I can read third person if I'm in the mood for it and I'm really into the book, but I do prefer first person point of view, you know what I mean? Like, third person just makes me feel like I'm not the character and I want to be the main character. Like, I'm trying to escape my reality. I want to be in the book, bitch. Whatever's happening to the heroine is happening to me. You know what I mean? But I've heard that this is phenomenal, and I really want to read this. I think it's on Audible. I think there's audiobooks on Audible. I want to try and attempt to listen to them. Should I try that? I think I should. Do you agree? Have you read them? What do you think? Speaking of Sophie Luck before, her Kingmakers series, I have not read. And I see it everywhere. But I get hesitant, as I said in my last video, to read books that I see everywhere. Because a lot of the times I pick up books that I see on Book Talk, on Instagram, and then I'm disappointed by them. So, but I do love Sophie. And she can write some ripper fucking Mafia. And I've heard that the Kingmakers is like one of the best series that she's ever written. So I do want to read that as well. But this is not turning into a Mafia TBR. What am I doing? Oh my god. That is it for the Mafia books that I wanted to just chat about today. Honestly, I just wanted to talk about the Mafia. I just want to kind of like get a conversation going in the comments. Like, tell me the hottest, best Mafia book you've recently read. I've also written down this series. Okay, it's turning into a fucking TBR video. Sinners Condemned, because I've heard amazing things about these two books. I tried reading Sinners Anonymous. I DNF'd that bitch because there was too much bird talk going on and I was just kind of like, what the fuck, this is driving me insane. The Devil of Dublin by B.B. Easton. That is on my TBR. Everyone has said that is fucking next level good. And there's a audio version too. Anyway, there's a couple of other books on my list, but I want to add more. So please let me know your favorite Mafia books that you've recently read. Put them down below. I'll put them on my list. I'll try and get through them. And then I'm going to come at you very soon with a new Mafia recommendation video because it's been a long time. I hope you guys enjoyed this chaotic Sunday video in my pajamas. The sun's coming out now, so I should probably end this video and call my partner, see where he's at, and go get my child. I love you. Have a good day wherever you are, doll, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.